of you and my and boundary conditions are the ones already have here, and another one which is the cross somehow going on like condition here. Now, okay. This is not the Maxwell operator. You take the identity matrix, this is what is called Foxler fasting. In a paper by Hans Trier, or 7. And this is something that they have few coefficients, and the only thing that we see is regularity is but this is an self-point operator. The actual Maxwell operator would be take this operator and apply the Helmholtz projection. So you run orthogonal projections on the space of this free vector fields, where this space also has this one. And the nice thing is that they can put this here. And let's check this here, giving the coefficients. And this means if you start from A and you have spectral multiplier given for A, then you have this over the space and then it shows what the generalized consequence is. The question is, of course, what is not. This is not that simple. Because the C omega, this is well known, for it, on which its domain does not invest into H1. It invests into H1 half, and this invests into L3. Now, this is something else. This is not equal to the half, and not 5, and this works because, roughly speaking, because you have this embedding, and because we have very nice arguments, very nice things, and this people which allows you to obtain the estimates. Then allows you estimates for the second group, and for the operators, for the second group in the words. If the boundary is frequency 1, then we have to add into H1 here, and then H1 takes it to L6, then you can use 605, 605. And you would have this, I don't have this case here, but the last remark on this. For the Rorschach class, you can consider this operator. This is what we call Stokes operator with Hodge boundary conditions. And what we now obtain is spectral multiplier theorem, more or less this type, for the Stokes operator with Hodge boundary conditions. And this is in sharp contrast to what is known for the Stokes operator with Binet boundary conditions. The reason is because it is clear that for one difference domain, one has the same group outside of it. Hence, we already improved this recently. It is not even known, because it's also called basically calculus this morning, this operator, the boundary condition, the Stokes operator, boundary condition. And you see here, this is not scattered, because we have functions which are not at a certain exactly can happen. I mean, there have been already here. You have what they call oscillator. These are estimates. If you translate them, you put the estimates from L1 to L2. And if you have such an estimate, then you can get here Q depends on from L1. Okay, this is from L1 to L2. We have something like that because we're working on Hardy spaces, the conditions from L2 to L2. There's another kind of estimates which are more restrictive to this paper by 10 or by 4. This is called slide conversation. These are assumptions which allow you to improve the regularity levels. Und das ist etwas, wo wir als Beginn hier, wir kennen uns nicht aus. Haus, kann das nicht. Ja. You see what I talked to you about is some aspects point of view. Of course, there are a lot of literature and studies for the special case. Good again.
I would also like to thank the organizers for giving me the opportunity to speak today, and I want to speak about some recent progress on the nonlinear Schrödinger equation, which is posed on a compact three-dimensional manifold. And today I want to introduce the equation and some known results. And then I want to convince you that it's quite important to study certain trilinear Speicher estimate. And finally, we're going to prove the trilinear Speicher estimate in two cases. And let's start with the introduction. So, this is the equation that we consider. It's the nonlinear Schrödinger equation, but this time it's posed on a three-dimensional compact smooth Riemannian manifold without boundary. And here, Laplace G is the Laplace-Beltrami operator, and we consider the quintic equation, so the nonlinearity. And if we consider the quintic nonlinear Schrödinger equation on R3, we have a scaling. The scaling is like lambda to the power of 1/2 times u of lambda squared g and lambda x. So H1 in R3 is the scale invariant state, and also the energy is scale invariant. And that's the reason why we call N the NLS, and it was stated on the first slide, the energy critical nonlinear Schrödinger equation. And as can be seen by arguments, I think they were spelled out in the paper of Piazzatawa and Kirchhoff in 2011. If we are in the energy space, the local well-posness result immediately implies the global well-posness result for small initial data in H1. Now, I want to talk about the linear evolution operator. Since we are on a compact manifold, the spectrum of the Laplace operator is discrete. Right? So we can list the eigenvalues, like this 0 is equal to lambda 0 squared, which is less than lambda 1 squared, and so on. And now I want to show you some examples. So the first one is the rationalist. And here, the eigenvalues are exactly n, the modulus of n squared, where n is a three-dimensional integer. So we have n1 squared plus n2 squared plus n3 squared. And this is almost the same as for the irrational terms, where we have some real numbers, lambda 1, lambda 2, lambda 3, is positive, they are positive real numbers, and we only multiply each of these terms by this lambda, by this alpha 1, respectively alpha 2 and alpha 3. In the case x cross s2, the situation is quite similar. We have also the modulus of n squared, but this time, and it's a two-dimensional variable only, okay? But it's the same structure, it's modulus of n squared. And on the three-dimensional sphere, it's almost the same as n squared, where n is just an integer, or a positive integer. So we have they have some kind of similar structure of the eigenvalues. Okay, now we want to denote hk by the spectral projector on the eigenspaces ek, which corresponds to the eigenvalue lambda k squared. And then we have the orthogonal decomposition. L can be decomposed into the sum of the eigenspaces. And hence we can write So the three-dimensional sphere, or even more general, four manifolds. But now we will only talk about S3. Okay? Then, in 2014, so this year, at the beginning of this year, the local and global well-posted results have been proved for the T-ration torus, and recently also on the product of the two spheres, so S cross S2, by Dr. Neher and myself. And there have been previous subcritical results. The first one was a very important work of Sloan Goguen in 1903 about the three-dimensional torus, and there he proved subcritical well-postedness. And a nice work of Bourgeois and Swetkov proved the subcritical results for S3 and S cross S2. And also by Wu and Wang last year, they had a result that proved subcritical well-postedness for the T-ration torus. And these results up here have been extended to the local well-postedness in the critical case given from large data by Benoit Posada and Alex Ionescu on the three-dimensional torus in 2012 as well, and on the three-dimensional sphere by Ionescu, Posada and Wang this year. And there is also a well-postedness result, Laurent Saumon showed in 2008 that if n is analytic and we're in the subcritical regime, so s is less than 1, then we cannot expect well-postedness. And there are other critical problems in three-dimension have been studied by Wang and Gu Wang, and they consider the three-dimensional torus and the Eurasian torus, but with other nonlinearities, with high nonlinearities, and they proved well-postedness in the scaling critical state. Now let's talk about the Strichert estimate. There's a very nice result due to Bourgeois and Swetkov, where they proved a Strichert estimate for every three-dimensional compact manifold, and if T is larger than 2 and Q is less than infinity, and they have this admissible conditions, then we can prove the following, or then they prove the following estimate. The linear evolution in LT in time and in LQ in X is bounded by the initial data in H1 over T. However, there's one drawback of this estimate. It's not scale invariant. It would be scale invariant if we had L2 on the right-hand side. And hence, this equation is not useful for the critical well-postedness study, unfortunately. Okay, but there have been improvements in Strichert estimates in our four considered cases. So, first of all, if n is a dyadic number, which is greater or equal to 1, and if we are on the if we are on the torus, the irrational torus, S plus S2 or S3, then we can prove this kind of Strichert estimate where Pn is the projector on frequencies of size n, and then we get a vector which is scale invariant n to the power of 3 half minus 5 over t. And if we look at the range of t in the several cases, then we see that on the torus and on the full manifold, or S3, t can be bigger than 4. It's true for every t larger than 4. However, on the irrational torus, it's only 16 over 3. And even worse, on S cross S2, they only have the result that t is greater or equal to 6. Let me just briefly mention in this, at this point, that in fact there is an improvement here. So we're going to do something more. But we will come to this later. I just wanted to take one theory where we have the same equation in t in time and in x. So if you wonder why I didn't mention this, we will make use of it. Okay, now why does this Strichert estimate still do not suffice to prove well-postedness in the critical state? If we want to argue by the contraction matching principle, then what we do is since we have a critic nonlinearity, we have 5 terms. By duality, we get another term, so we have 6 terms. And so what we are shooting for is an L6 estimate, right? And we have to bound this integral over 6 functions by a factor of frequencies, but this bound should not depend on the highest frequency with a positive power. And if we go back here, we see that we cannot avoid getting the highest frequency into the game if we just use the linear Strichert estimate. So we have to get a new idea what we can do. And one way out is, and I think this was used also the first time, I think, by Bourgeois and Swetkov. Maybe I'm wrong here, but I think it's the case. And we want to prove critical trilinear estimates. And the starting point is as follows. In all those 4 cases, we want to improve the null L6 estimate, which looks like this, by using almost orthogonality in space and in time. And then we can prove the following estimates in every of these four cases. And for example, for the three cases was done by Heather Power and Spector, on the duration it was by myself, on S for the 2 by Sebastian Herz and on for many folks as well. So why is it improvement? We have three functions over here, the product of three functions in L2, and so what we get is we get one of these factors. And what's very important here is we have only a dependence on the lowest frequency, on the second lowest frequency, and we do have a dependence on the highest frequency, but we gain something. So this is the negative power, and this is very crucial. So if you don't think about this, if you just forget about this term, then we have a gaining invariant estimate with this term over here, and this term, but we get a little factor, we gain a little factor of N1. And this is the main advantage. And this trilinear estimate implies local wave functions and global wave functions for small initial data, and this is true for every three-dimensional smooth manifold. And this was carried out in the paper of Hertz herself, but I think it goes back to the iteration phases that was first introduced by Hertz, Power, and Spector. So this is the main ingredient. In this paper, we'll just kind of remark how this exactly works, but the main work was done over here. So this is a remarkable work. Okay, and now I want to convince you that gaining this trilinear Schwittert estimate is not very complicated. The basics here are very simple. And okay, so let's do this. First, let's recall what the linear evolution looks like. And now, in our four cases, it looks explicitly like this. So what we have in common here is, what we have in common, we have t times the modulus of n squared, something similar here, something similar here, and something similar here. So this, all these estimates, all these linear evolutions have in common. And then